Breaking news this hour, Rudy Giuliani's indicted Ukrainian-linked associate is announcing he will cooperate with this impeachment probe. NBC News confirming, Reuters first reporting, Lev Parnas will comply with the impeachment investigators' requests and potential testimony. This is according to his lawyer tonight. News on the indicted Giuliani aide comes as we're also learning that the former diplomat to Ukraine told impeachment investigators Giuliani was threatening her, a major allegation that adds to the headaches for the Trump lawyer now under criminal investigation himself. Now, get this. It turns out he's also still holding meetings with Ukrainians about the election. Within the last week, he was pushing for foreign election interference, sitting down at his New York City office with a former Ukrainian diplomat who's pushed the conspiracy theory that Ukraine was working with the DNC against Trump back in 2016. NBC reporting all of this shows that Giuliani's efforts at a shadow foreign policy and the Ukraine plot, which is, of course, the whole heart of the impeachment probe, basically continues. Now, in public, we can note that Giuliani has been keeping a low profile, staying off TV. And while he often emails and texts reporters, he did not provide comment to NBC on this new report I'm telling you about. And while Giuliani is not putting himself on television lately, SNL just put him on blast.
It was reported that just after President Trump named Rudy Giuliani as his cybersecurity advisor in 2017, Giuliani went to an Apple store for help after he entered the wrong password in his phone 10 times and permanently locked himself out. Even worse, he went to this Apple store. By the way, of course, Giuliani's iPhone wouldn't unlock because even Apple's Face ID couldn't recognize the man Rudy has become.
I want to bring in Daily Beast reporter Betsy Woodruff-Swan and Harvard University professor Leah Wright-Rigueur. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening.
Professor, he won't stop. He doesn't have an announcement yet of a lawyer. SNL has their take on it. What do you see as important here? Because there's a political lane, there's the public lane, and then there's the legal impeachment lane.
Well, I should give a shout out to Diddy since it's his birthday today and say can't stop, won't stop. And that seems to be Mr. Giuliani's motto.
Happy birthday,
for
Diddy.
The past couple of months. Happy birthday, Diddy. I think what we're seeing here is a person who is motivated.
I have to say one more thing. We have below you on the screen, can't stop, won't stop, but I didn't know you were going to say that. So that's a mind melt.
You know, we're here. I think what we're seeing is the continuation of Rudy Giuliani showcasing, the two people that he is most interested in protecting, Donald Trump and himself. And so what ends up happening is, even though he knows that he should be staying away from various individuals, even though he knows that he shouldn't be doing this, he is out there. He is continuing to look for conversations and corruption and conspiracies around Ukraine. And he is continuing to try to influence the public conversation around Ukraine, which means taking the pressure off of Donald Trump and putting it back on Joe Biden. So is this the smartest strategy? I don't actually think it is the smartest strategy, but we are still continuing to have a conversation around Joe Biden and these corruption charges or these corruption allegations, even though they're conspiracies, even as Rudy Giuliani continues to somewhat self-incriminate.
Betsy?
First, I'd like to associate myself with the happy birthday wishes to Diddy, just co-signing that. Second, the Lev Parnas news that just came out is something that likely is making Mayor Giuliani extremely nervous. When people make dramatic switches in the way that they're talking about their levels of cooperation with any branch of the federal government, the first thing that I think most lawyers think is there some sort of plea deal conversation that's going on? I want to be clear that I don't have any reporting to that effect, but this new newly cooperative version of Lev Parnas suggests that he's trying to potentially curry favor with folks in the federal government. It's also a very weird plot twist for Capitol Hill. Members of the congressional committees that are trying to investigate the president for impeachment as part of an impeachment inquiry have said that they're hoping this could be the last week of closed-door depositions. They're going to want to talk to Lev Parnas behind closed doors before they put him on any sort of public witness stand. They're going to have to move fast if they want to bring him in.
Let me draw you out on this. I mean, you see this as a significant and not automatic development, because sometimes there's so many things flying. Oh, this person, that person's turning over materials. Okay, well, they're supposed to. In normal times, they almost all do. But you see this as more of an inflection.
No question, especially because it was just a couple weeks ago that Parnas and Fruman's then lawyer, John Dowd, said that they would not be cooperating with the impeachment inquiry. He wrote a letter that I obtained saying that the impeachment inquiry was on its face kind of fraudulent or fake. The fact that Parnas is now saying, actually, I'm going to be helpful to you guys in his specific case, I think is a large and meaningful change, and it suggests that he's worried. When people who are close associates of Rudy Giuliani get worried about the federal government, that's probably a reason for the mayor himself to have a fairly significantly higher stress level.
Professor?
I completely agree with this. I mean, one of the most striking things about what's going on right now is the complete about face, this abrupt shift from this camp, going from suggesting, we're not going to cooperate, this investigation is not valid, this inquiry is not valid, to saying, nope, we're actually willing to cooperate, we're willing to participate. I think we should all be, eager to hear, at least, or hear reports of what's going to happen during that testimony. What are the documents that are going to come forward? Because part of what is happening is that a new kind of story, or it's contributing to a new kind of story emerging. And again, Rudy Giuliani has been in the hot seat for some time now. I would be extremely concerned if I was Rudy Giuliani. It also explains in part why he continues to go on essentially what is, a wild goose chase, and continues to engage in these, off the books shadow government meetings, because, the people are turning up the heat on him right now. So he is concerned. So I think that partially explains why we continue to see this behavior. One more thing, Ari, that I think is important. There's something to be said about Rudy Giuliani and his feelings towards Congress. And one of the things that is really striking, too, I think, about this is the way that Rudy Giuliani views Congress right now. He's been dismissive. He's rejected Congress. So even while I think there are significant fears, and he is displaying behavior that indicate that he is concerned, he has also essentially said to Democrats, I don't care, force me, make me. So the challenge, he is laying part of the challenge back in Democrats' lap.
And so, Betsy, do you have any idea briefly when we would hear from Parnas?
If he wants to talk to Congress before they start public hearings, he's going to need to get in there potentially within the next 4 or 5 business days. It's going to have to be quick. That said, if he's been cooperating with the Justice Department, then it's possible he can just hit forward on an email and send Capitol Hill any documents that he may or may not have provided to DOJ.
Yeah, and we saw that matching at times with requests and other probes where they would say, hey, we just want to see everything that you found responsive in the other thing. Although impeachment is broader, and as we've been covering all night, there are aspects to what the House is looking at impeachment that may not be technical felonies, but go to what they call the shadow foreign policy. So a lot here. Betsy and Leah, thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.